Hey, this is Chilli, or James Chillingworth, and today I want to talk with you about how big is cybersecurity. But before we start, I want to give you a quote, and this one is from Yogi Berra. It goes something like this: if you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up someplace else. And Yogi Berra was that famous baseball coach manager and made crazy expressions, but there is logic behind it. I mean, if you don't really know what you're doing and how to proceed, then you don't really know when you're going to get there, or you're going to end up somewhere else. So, and I wanted to provide background information on cybersecurity and how broad it is. Some people say it's a discipline that is 5 miles wide and 2 inches deep, and that could very well be. And this information is for CEOs and executives as well as cyber resources. You don't have to understand everything that I'm going to talk about, but it is important to understand the overall context so that you can say, hey, well, we need to make sure we focus on all of these areas and align them to our business. So here we go. So first up, let's talk about physical. Your physical environment. So, who do you do business with? And are you protected? Are they protected? Are they secure? So that includes your customers, your remote workers now, suppliers, distributors, and maybe even things like, your staff that cleans your physical environment. Have they had security background checks done? Because, breaches and social engineering can come from this method. Also, external hosting companies. Are you dealing with them? Are they physically secure? Have they been through all kinds of background verifications and validation as well? So things to consider. As well, are your offices physically protected from external harm or threats? And you can adjust that based on the type of business that you do and the assets that you are controlling within your physical structure. Do you have an emergency plan? Business continuity planning is often what is considered. Has that been tested? Do you have a disaster recovery plan? And disaster recovery plans mostly focus on information technology infrastructure. But again, has that been tested and validated? One big point is inventory. Do you know what your inventory is? Do you have an accurate picture of your inventory? Have you done like an inventory assessment or audit even? And this continuously is at the top of the CIS top 20 list, which is now the top 18, but it's inventory and control of enterprise assets. And so many organizations, from the largest to the smallest, don't have a good understanding of that. And that introduces potential areas of concern that you'll want to focus on. Next, applications. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about applications, but they represent about 43% of all breaches, according to some analysis. Those are web application breaches. There's all kinds of material and approaches you can use to make sure that your applications are solid. Code reviews using various technologies and tools. I've mentioned these in the past. Following through with proper strategy and direction and code procedures when you're developing applications or implementing them or purchasing them from external parties. Operating systems. I'm going to go through a number of these items quickly now. Operating systems, for example, are they current? Have they been patched? Have they been configured correctly? Do they alarm when something is going wrong? The same thing applies to system tools. And scripts. What about scripts? Have the scripts that you're using within your organization gone through a software development lifecycle, or secure software development lifecycle, meaning have they gone through all the various security controls and procedures and policies that you may have in place? Networks and devices. Are they patched? Are they up to date? Again, are they configured to alarm? I use the term operationalized. Are they operationalized properly? So many times I've seen this where organizations deploy technology, they install it, they get it running, and then they set it and forget it, which is not what you need to do, because you need to be constantly, that's a tongue twister for me, constantly monitoring the environment. So cybersecurity devices and technology, same thing, patched, up to date, operationalized. Storage, has it been patched, up to date, operationalized? Do automatic backups occur of your storage environment? Do you use snapshots? These are very particular to storage, but very, very important and can protect you from threats and situations that could cause you to go offline for a period of time, but enable you to be protected if you implement appropriately. Databases, are they patched, up to date, operationalized as well? Do they have automated backup done also? And are there various security controls applied to databases? Because security controls that exist on normal networked or infrastructure environments are different than the database controls. You have a database analyst or architect that's looking after your database environment, and they have different security controls and passwords and user IDs, etc. So it's kind of like another layer of security, but that has to be verified. And then finally, I wanted to talk with you about telephony. Has your telephony environment, so in other words, people calling you or coming into your call center or even outbound calls, are you scanning the voice traffic to determine whether someone is lying or if inappropriate communications are occurring? There's technology out there to do this, and I recommend you implement this. Are you stopping voice spamming from occurring as well? This kind of falls into that same realm, although a little bit different. And also, finally, are your users trained to spot social engineering that could be coming through from voice calls or voice messages or through your call center, etc.? And I lied there. Did also want to talk about servers, workstations, and laptops. You want to make sure that those are solid and in place. So what you may want to do is create a grid of everything that I've mentioned, because that covers kind of a large, probably like 95% of all areas of security vulnerability. And then identify each of them and rank them in terms of your business goals and strategy to determine how much you want to focus on those. And then that kind of gives you a good idea or a starting point, so that you're not caught in the situation where if you don't know where you're going, then you might end up someplace else. Yogi Berra once again. So if I can help you, please reach out to me and I'll see what I can do. And if I can't help, I'll certainly point you in the right direction. Thanks for paying attention, and stay safe. Have a nice day.